I'm almost done here. Give me a second. And then we got to check for transmission. And let's see, where is that yod? No, it's not a yod. It's just an inconjunct. Okay. We still have this active. All right. All right. Let's double check everything now. See if we got a signal. Hey, Jody. I believe I have this already lined up, ready to go. So obviously the signal is working. Looks like we are live. So that's good. Of course, this is a different platform. Most of the time I'm over on the other platform nowadays, but on Sunday nights we still end up here. It's amazing all these years later. Quite something, really. Yes, I got it. I got it. Thank you, Jody. Yes, I'm very pleased. Thank you. So, this is, I'm doing tarot readings tonight, but I always love to have this in the background because I always feel that this is a very powerful external influence, which I always like to factor into the readings, whether people like it or know it or not. It's there, okay? Yep. Thank you. Cat food for Bubba. Yeah. Very, very valuable. Thank you. Yeah, that really helps. So actually, now that I'm still here on the chart, let me just mark a couple of things because we still have some very, very powerful ingredients. Of course, let me just for the YouTube viewers who don't really ever see me on Rumble, I just wanted to go back in time. So this was last night, Saturday night. You can see the similarities, all right? Just do that and just do that. The moon is moved from here to here. The inconjunct is still here. The big fat yod is gone. I'll show you. These are all the stress points here, 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 and they're still here. But this is what's happened over the last week or two. Let's have a look. Aha. Friday night, the yod is still there. Extreme stress, spectacular headlines across the news regarding issues of power, money, control, war, for better or worse. Hello, Love Triber, I see you. There it is, the same story again. Thursday. And there's Wednesday, look at that. That's when things were very, very spicy last week. A monumental week for American history. Same thing here. Monumental week for American history. Same thing here. Crises levels for the whole world, not just American history. These are the yods here, and then this one here. Basically it goes like that. They call it the finger of God. Whew. It's an extremely high pressure aspect. It's like somebody squeezing your shoulder very tight. You need to pay attention to this energy field here. You need to pay attention to this energy field here. Understand, grow, evolve, or die. And there you go. Back to the 21st. Okay? It's the 29th. This is the 20th, sorry. This is the 29th. And it's only a week ago that we had this. This was the big kaboom moment. The shock wave was felt all across the whole world. This was the night before, where we already predicted that there was going to be massive stress across the world, playing out in some way that's potentially very explosive. Mars in conjunct Pluto. There we go. Finger of God. There it is. There's the yod itself. This is all the pressure building up. These are the inconjuncts before the full yods. Massive, nasty T-square here. Obviously war heavily highlighted. But anyway, just wanted to show that what I just showed you is basically astrological history as archived in the vaults of TarotLumination. We're still living through it. We still have major evolutionary crises points going on right now, but the big kaboom moment has just passed. It's like a massive tsunami wave that's been building up for years, and especially in the last few months, and then it went, the wave broke, and we see it on the world headlines, whether you like it or know it or not. The world has changed. The whole world has changed. Of course, the French say, la plus ça change, la plus ça reste la même chose. In other words, in the French version of it, the more things change, the more things remain the same. Yes, you could look at it that way. Yes, there's always war and ugliness and bitterness, and there's always beauty and kindness and empathy and love. And they're operating simultaneously depending on how we, the people, interpret the energy fields around us. But when something like this happens in the astrology, it puts enormous pressure on the human experience itself at the very bedrock, right down to Pluto, the very soul of humanity, where we are seeing the very best and the very, very worst on the global stage. And I'm trying to talk in a way that I don't use names or inflammatory topics or good guys, bad guys. I'm trying to talk in a very non-judgmental way, okay? Anyway, the tsunami broke effectively on around the 21st, the 22nd, basically last week, Sunday night. It was called Midnight Hammer, and that's when the wave broke. Kerblam! Massive astrological tsunami, and now for the next few months we're going to be dealing with the aftertow. You know what happens when a massive wave comes in, crashes, and then it starts to roll back and it sucks water away from the beach back into the ocean, deep, deep, deep. So that's what we're going to be living through over the next, 3, 4, 5 months. And of course, just like what happens on the beach, when that massive undertow pulls back, and that corresponds to all the retrogrades that we're going to be enduring right up to the end of the year, what happens when we see that undertow? The water goes way back and it strips that out right down to the ocean floor, to the seabed, to the beach, where you see a lot of things you would never normally see. Weird rocks, maybe some shoals, or maybe some underwater structures that you didn't even know were there, for better or worse. And we're going to see all that. It's the revealing for the healing. We're going to see exactly what's wrong, where it's wrong, why it's wrong, and we're going to try to figure out how to make it better. Some people think it's going to look like chaos and hell. Some people think it looks like going to be a beautiful new start. Anyway, I'm staying very, very vague. I don't want to inflame the audience or get people scared or excited unnecessarily. Right, basically just take my word for it. We've just lived through 2 weeks of astrological history like we haven't seen in basically probably a couple of 100 years, but it's happening now live, real time, and the undertow is already underway. It's going to drag through for the rest of the year. So I feel I'm excited personally because I'm excited to see what's going to happen here. What's it going to look like? How are people going to respond, behave? Again, for better or worse. Massive evolutionary pressure, extreme pressure. Another way you could look at it is with the tectonic plates, for example. We're seeing lots of movement in the tectonic plates all over here, here. Lots of earthquakes, volcanoes, things like that. It all matches perfectly. Anyway, that's the astrology. Let me say hello and good evening and welcome. Let's see. Yes, we are live. Hello. It is Sunday night. It's the 29th of June 2025, and we're going to do a few tarot readings if anyone's here or interested. We've already got one lined up for Jody, aka Water Dragon. Now, let me see. I got to adjust a few things with the studio, check things are right. So, let me just explain a few things. We've got a couple of people here, I guess. Let me just, okay, sorry, technical stuff. Usually we have a very small audience. A lot of times it's just the folks we've been enjoying for the last 7-8 years. And if anyone's new here and you would like a mini reading, you've never done this before, it's by donation. So you go over here. You can go on a device like your phone, a tablet, another tab on your computer or something, and you can put a donation in. There you go to TarotLumination.com, click the donate page, click the donate button, you find a payment processor, you scroll down and choose credit, debit card, so on. It's just like online shopping. Okie dokie. No, you don't want a reading? Okay, no worries. No worries, thank you anyway. Okay. Hello, Man of Hearts. Namaste. That means peace. Watching from India. Woohoo! You wowza. Okay, well, this might be right up your street. Sorry, excuse me. I had to check, see where if I can see India on the globe. Just a minute. There's South America. There's North Africa. There's South Africa. Central Europe covered in clouds. There's Saudi Arabia. And India looks to be covered in a few clouds. There's Malaysia, China, Indonesia, Australia. Well, I couldn't see it very clearly. Anyway, let's do it over here. I'll show you. Recently, I don't know if you, dear Man of Hearts, I don't know if you've ever seen my show on the other platform. It's called RUMBLE, Rumble, and I do TarotLumination on Rumble. And recently I've been talking about my friends from India. I had a girlfriend years ago from India, and she was an Indian Muslim lady. She was absolutely delightful, but eventually things were incompatible because of culture and so on. But she was delightful. Also, over here, when I lived in Los Angeles for 20 years, I had my little place right on the beach, and one of my tenants was from India as well. A wonderful, wonderful woman. Absolutely delightful. In the end, she was kind of hinting she wouldn't mind getting married. It was not really up. I wasn't really. I'm not marriage material, quite frankly. But anyway, a lovely woman, and her cooking was amazing, just like my delightful female friend from India. Her Indian cuisine is, makes my head spin. Yep. And I know that India, you've been experiencing quite a lot of turmoil recently with Pakistan, and also doing forced emigration, pushing out illegals, some radical, nasty people, trying to get rid of them, get them out of India. I don't blame you. You've got a lot of people there, and the fewer bad people, the better. I've never been to India. I've been to a lot of places, but never India. Hello, Robin. Robin, you're driving. Okay, you're just going to listen. You're driving, but I wish you all well. Thank you very much. Oh, here's another story about India while we're at it. I don't know if this will resonate with you, Man of Hearts. So, many years ago, I had very, very bad stage 4, supposedly terminal metastatic cancer. And somehow, by miracles, I survived. I attribute a big chunk of my survival, number one, to an amazing doctor and amazing surgeon who saved me at the very, very last minutes while I was bleeding out and I'd lost a lot of blood, but somehow or other they saved me. And the blood transfusions at the time, they did not have any nasty chemicals inside. Anyway, so after the surgery, the lovely, wonderful doctor had a meeting with me and my friends and family to just let everybody know, hey, TL, you're alive, okay? The prognosis is not good. So, get your affairs in order, have a lot of fun, travel, hang out with your friends and family, enjoy it while you can, because there's not much else I can do. I've doubled up your medications and treatment programs to give you a better chance. Here's all the graphs and charts for people in your situation. It's not pretty. And so some of my friends and family were crying. I was kind of in shock, but again, I've been in this position many times before, but not with cancer. Anyway, so I thought, okay, here we go again. Death's door. Yep, okay. And so some of my friends decided, no, this is not going to happen. TL is not going to die. We're going to do something radical. We're going to enlist TL into an extreme high pressure, very advanced yoga healing program. So there it was. And I did it. I went in and I was treated as a special case. I had a lot of free treatments and so on. And it was kind of shocking, because every 3 months I would go back to the doctors and for a checkup, and they were kind of in shock. Where's all the residual cancer? You see, I had metastatic cancer. It went all the way up into my lungs, into my colon area, all around my groin, and into my thighs, upper thighs, and so on, and sort of around the lymph nodes and everything. It was very, very bad. And then after a few months, gone. just gone. And I feel that it was a lot of it is to do with these advanced yoga healing. There was a lot of hands-on healing from very advanced yogis and remote and hands-on healers. Sometimes they wouldn't even touch me. They wouldn't even touch me with their hands. They would just use their hands like some sort of radiology, radiotherapy type stuff, going all over my body, back and forth, like a scanner machine or something, you know, like putting yourself inside a printer scanner. And they would do that with their hands over and over and over and over again. And I had these very powerful visions of angels watching over me, and these highly specialized angels, which were actually interns. They weren't really fully qualified angels. They were interns earning their degree, doing their internship in order to be fully qualified as healing angels, archangels, and so on. And so I had a tremendous support system, and there were, I believe, 15 of these intern angels. Most of them were fairly young, female, and very active in the healing process, alongside the actual human yoga healers. So it was very intensive, and there were periods where I could actually feel the energy fields moving through my body. Like literally like I don't know, like aura. It's like the energy of auras. It just floods through your body. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is really for Man of Hearts. I hope you see this, because I'm thinking you will understand. Where did it go? Where's my... Hold on. Wait a minute. Where's my freaking show? Huh? Where's the frickin' show? What the hell? What the hell? Come on. Oh, good grief. Hold on a second. I gotta check something here. Okay, I'm doing some kind of checkup here to find out what the hell is going on in the studio. Please bear with me, people. I don't know what the hell just happened. Oh, good grief. Okay. Just sorry, I've never had this before. I have no idea what's going on. I'm going to try and salvage the show. I got a text that I got a note that the show is still alive, but I don't see how that's possible. What the hell? Oh, it shows that there's an X. It's already... Oh, this is freakish, man. Oh, good grief. Okay. All right. Oh, I almost had a heart attack there. Okay, it says over here the streaming is good. Robin says you can see it. Love Triber says it's okay. João Bras, are you from Brazil? Anyway, just let me check in here. So I have no idea what happened. It was like the whole platform just went crash. But the transmission kept going. I don't know. I don't understand it. But anyway, let me finish my little story, if I can remember. But I promised that I was going to show you the kind of thing I'm talking about here. I've done this many times over the years. Have a look at this. Stay there. This is the best way that I can illustrate the type of healing that I was enjoying. This is the title of a book, okay? It's an old book. It's from the mid-80s. Hands of Light, a guide to healing through the human energy field. Look at this. This is exactly what I was able to receive. It's from Barbara Brennan, and she was a teacher. And she had a very successful school back in the day. I don't know if she's still alive, but this is one of my most valuable books. I used to have a large library about all this kind of stuff: astrology, tarot, love, the esoteric arts, healing, everything like that. But anyway, this is all I could salvage, huh? So, to see a visual, let's have a look. Where is the picture? There's some pictures here. Okay. So these are the kind of auras that I get to see now and again. I don't see them all day, every day, but I do see auras now and again. It's just one of those things. It's like you get sensitive to these things. Here's an example of a woman aura. Okay. So, okay, here's a good illustration. Okay, see this one here? Here's an example. This is a very good illustration that depicts very accurately the kind of healing that I was given. It's really just like this. Okay? That would be me on the table, and the person standing with clothes on would be the practitioner, and all the other characters are spirits, healing angels from the other side, very, very actively participating. And the big column coming right out from the top of her head, from the head of the practitioner, is the funnel through which the healing power of love is transmitted. I know it sounds crazy, but that's how it works. Okay? And here is a close-up. This is what it looks like close up. Okay? So I would be the person on the table, and there would be the advanced yogi healer, and working alongside the yogi healers would be the invisible friends, the spirit healers, sending the healing power of love through the hands. Okay? And at the very top of her head is the column of spiritual energy through which the energy is transmitted from heaven. Okay? So the thing is, that stuff doesn't really work. It sounds really weird, right? Okay? It might sound very strange, but it really works. It's real. I've been aware of it for a very long time, in one form or another. And I've been a very grateful recipient. And again, the doctors, I just came back from the doctor, what's today? Sunday. Like 3 days ago. And they were looking through all my charts, my readings and everything. They basically said the same old thing. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you do it, but just keep doing what you're doing. Okay? You're doing extremely well. Considering, Okay, so I guess the reason I mentioned all that stuff is because I noticed some man of hearts from India. And then Zhao showed up. Robin showed up. Robin is a healer. Love Triber is a reader. Robin is also a reader. Well, who else we got there? Okay. But anyway, I just seemed a good idea to share that story, since really what we do here with the tarot readings is a miniature form of healing. You know, the way I look at it is that the tarot cards it's like a prop. You know, like have you ever been to those events where there's a person who can speak with the souls from beyond, your dead relatives, your dead pets, and so on, and you want to get messages? And they're very popular. It was a really big deal about 20 years ago. James von Prague is one of the biggest in the world. There's others as well. I forgot their names, but I like James von Prague. He became extremely successful, very wealthy, had a TV show, produced TV shows about this kind of spirit energy. And basically, it's being able to communicate in multidimensional frequencies above and beyond our three-dimensional life, okay? And it allows for a much wider spectrum of energy to flow in our life and our world, ultimately for the good, okay? So I was so extremely lucky to be a recipient. This was all gifted to me. And actually, every time I would go into the yoga center, of course it was very muted, very mellow, a very respectful place, but I was often like presented as a success story when throughout the classes and the teaching and the healers, like, here's an example of somebody who comes into the practice in very bad condition, and lo and behold, weeks, months later, kaboom, magic healing. It's the healing power of love. I think of love as an energy field. It just flows. It's always there. We're swimming in it all day, every day, whether you like it or know it or not. The question is, are you tuned into that stuff? Okay? So, yeah. Karen, yay! I mean, love, it makes it sound like it's a romantic thing, but love, I think of it as pure energy of benevolence. It's just there. And we're swimming in it all the time. Oh, I used to have this little joke. What was it? Oh, yeah. A big, beautiful tropical fish is swimming around in the coral reef. And then a scuba diver shows up. And then the fish goes up to the scuba diver and says, "Hey, listen, man. Can you tell me? I don't get it. What is this thing called water? Everybody keeps saying I'm a fish and I live in water. What is it? What is this stuff, water?" And the scuba diver says, You're in it right now. That's your world. You're swimming in water." And the fish is like, "Really? Oh, I didn't know that." So there you go. Hello, Karen, over there in New Zealand. Wow. So we got India here tonight. We got New Zealand. Jody, I forgot where you're from. Is it Wisconsin? America? Anyway, so over here, back to the healing subject. I use the tarot cards as like a tool, like a prop, like a mechanism to facilitate the psychic energy. Makes it easier to tune in to the great beyond and get access to the healing power of love, rather than having to sit there and pump and grind and turn yourself into a psychic medium where you have to accelerate and amplify your own energy field to be able to communicate in the world of psychic energy. And sometimes that can be depleting. So I don't like to do it that much because it's already hard enough to live in this world. See, Wisconsin, I knew that, didn't I? How did I know that? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, so tonight we're going to use our little spread. I've been doing it for many years, so it's my situational spread. I think of it as a diagnostic tool, and we're going to do a reading for somebody because I got a donation. You know, I don't have any other offers on board here, so this might be a very short show tonight. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay, that's like kaboom, ba-boom, ba-boom. I'm gonna go over here. I'm just checking on a few things. No, looks like it's gonna be a very short show. Okie dokie. Alright, I might have to Cheesehead. Wisconsin Cheesehead. Yep, I get it. I've heard of that before. I've never been to Wisconsin. I wish I could. I love cheese. I can't eat proper cheese anymore. It's very sad. There are 2 cheeses that I've found that I can actually eat. It's real cheese with no lactose. They're fantastic. They're pretty expensive, but I wait for them to go on sale. Alright, so what do we got here? So, I'm still curious. We know where Man of Hearts is from. I'm just curious about Zhao. New to the channel, nice hearing you. Are you from Brazil? I'm just guessing. Anyway, let us know in the chat. Okie dokie. Oh, it's beautiful. I bet it is. Okay, out over here in sunny Las Vegas, we've got rid of all our chemtrails, geoengineering, cloud seeding. It's basically gone. Somebody got the message, and I think it's the governor, Joe Lombardo. I think he got the message that it's not good to have chemtrails. So I think it's been banned, but they didn't make a big noise about it. It started from Florida, where it's a federal crime to put out chemtrails. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to talk about that stuff. Oops, sorry, forget it. Anyway, the sky is very clear. There's not too much dust. There's not too much haze. It's about 115 in the shade. When you get in the sun itself, it's much hotter because you get the radiation. But there you go. That's the desert. Extreme desert. It's always a battle between Phoenix, Arizona, and Las Vegas, which is hotter. They both get very hot. I remember in Albuquerque when I was a little kid, I was in a car park. This is when Albuquerque was just a very small town, like a little crossroads town. Anyway, went out to the car park, and there was this huge explosion. And couldn't figure out what it was. But in the end, I realized, oh, it was the car tire exploding on somebody's car. Freakish. So at that date, it was about 126 degrees outside. So, yeah, modern day heat, climate issues are nothing new. It's been very, very hot in the desert for thousands of years. So, suck it up. All right, what am I going to do here? How am I going to deal with this? All right, first of all, let's just clear the stage. All right, I don't know what I'm going to, how about, I don't want to do one of, I'm a little bit scared to do one of those readings for America, or for the president, or, for some of these very big serious issues right now. Oh. Oh, okay, Karen. No worries. I'll get you set up. Okay, Mr. Ross. Of course. Karen, yeah, I got you. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. Let's get you set up. That's great. Thank you, Karen. Don't worry. You can go off and have fun now. Do whatever you got to do. You'll get your reading later. So tonight, as far as I can tell, Robin, I believe you're from... Where is Robin? Is it... Oh, sorry, Robin. Arkansas? Mississippi? I know you're from... this. Yes, Gregory, I have room. Yeah. So we've got Robin from over here. We got Love Triber from over here. We got Jody from up here. We got Gregory from over here. We've got Karen from over here. We've got Chow, I don't know where, maybe Brazil, I'm guessing. And we have, oh, what's their name? Let me just check their name. I forgot. Oh, okay, where are they? Hearts, Man of Hearts from India. We got Man of Hearts from India. So, yeah, that's a good spread. It's already daytime over there. So, okay, so we can get on with the show. It's interesting. So we got a few folks from America. We got New Zealand, India, and I'm guessing Brazil if they're still here. All right, so let's get Gregory set up with a magic post-it note. There you go. There's your magic post-it note, Mr. Ross. That'll probably be it, you know. We don't have to do a lot of readings. I can't really do a lot of readings anyway. Oh, wow. Okay. Weaving. The magical art of weaving. Oh my gosh. Karen. Yeah, go on, have your fun. I'm just going to follow up on your notes there. I've moved around a lot in my life, and I've ended up losing or leaving or forgetting or having to abandon, tragically, my stuff. Some of the things that I had were I would consider artifacts. Some of them were very beautiful, and I used to cherish them. But I was no longer able to do so, and I had to let them go. Some of my most cherished pieces were woven, like basketry. I have a lot of respect for weaving, fabrics, and basketry. The art of basketry, it's just an amazing skill. I don't know if you watch some of the videos, some of the very advanced weavers. It's like a magical art form. Okay, they have to have the vision to be able to see the finished piece, and then they have to have the materials and the skills to put it all together and turn it into like a beautiful vase-shaped thing or something like that, or a container of some kind. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. I hope the meeting goes well and you have a lot of fun. So, okay, here we go. All right, so let's have a look. We're going to shuffle up. All right, so I need a couple moments to shuffle up here. Give me a moment here. All right, here we go. Cards are nicely shuffled. Karen, I hope you're well. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And okie dokie. I think we're ready to go. So I like to going to keep it simple, okay? There's often the most value comes from a totally blind reading where there's no expectations placed on top of the reading itself. For people who are new, I'm using my situational spread. Think of it as a black box, a diagnostic box that they use when you're looking at your car. Imagine you've got a car and the check engine light is flashing red, red, orange, orange, red, red, orange, orange. Something's wrong. So you go to the auto tech people, they take out their little black box, they plug it in under the dashboard, under your car, they set it up, run it through the computer, and it tells you, oh, your gasoline tank is leaking. Oh, your spark plugs are burned out. Okay? Something like that. And then you know what to do. So in other words, you have to reveal it to heal it. That's it. Really simple. Hello, Mr. Johnson. Okie dokie. So that's all it is here. So I'm keeping it very, very simple. You'll see as we go. Okay? Just hang in. So what kind of messages do we have here for Karen tonight? What I'd like to do is invite everybody who's here to invite their own invisible friends. Surround yourselves with the healing power of love. Believe in it or not, doesn't matter. Just ask. Invite your guardian angels, spirit guides, invisible friends, all the above, to just gather in tight and close and to participate. It just adds like an amplifier to the whole experience. Also, imagine you're at a nice, beautiful, beautiful nature retreat somewhere, and we're all together around a beautiful campfire, and it's beautiful nature. There's water nearby, like stream, lake, river, and ocean. and there's trees, and it's just beautiful, and the fire is perfect. Okay, that's up to you, however you imagine that. So here we go. All right, let's have a look. I think I just did the cut already, didn't I? Yes, I did. But I guess I'm doing it again. Okie dokie. Okay, here we go. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things, okay, going forward. I know you've been on a bit of a roll, Karen, and we've all been living through some astrological history. Monumental, historic moments in global astrology. So that was at the beginning of my show tonight. But anyway, I like to refer to that a lot of times in the external influences, okay? So what we have here for you is Page of Pentacles. So this is very comforting for me to see for you, Karen. This gives me an indication that you're always maintaining a youthful, healthy, open-hearted, open-minded attitude towards learning about basically the functions of our three-dimensional world. It never, ever, ever stops. So, all right, in the context of you going off and doing some teaching right now, I don't know if you've ever had this experience before, Karen, but a lot of teachers learn a lot when they are teaching. Teaching is learning. And that's what I feel is going on with you here, where you are sharing your gifts with these people, with this group, and in so doing, you are learning things in return. It might be something completely different, nothing to do with weaving, but something. You're learning something in the process, so it's reciprocal, okay? And that makes me feel as though it's actually very simple, pure, and joyful, and it's because you're open, ready, willing, and able to receive the healing power of love as part of your natural status quo. You're built that way. You allow yourself to be, let's say, in tune with divine energy, okay? So in some ways you're very lucky that you have that faculty at all. You don't have to be a psychic or anything, or a reader or anything like that. You can just be open. You can have your heart chakra really open, ready, willing, and able to receive education, learning. How does it all work in this world? Perhaps it's something to do with the operation of your business. Some little nugget like, the realization like, oh my gosh, wow, I never knew that. And you're going to learn it in the context of your own teachings that you share with others. Okay, what's the situation here? Okay, so with more pentacles here. So with the Seven of Pentacles, there's an indication that you're very aware of the, let's say, the values, the existing, let's say, benevolence, health of your business life, perhaps the gallery, or with your classes, your students, your customers, your visitors, all of that. And what you are realizing is that even though you have reached a certain level of professionalism, integrity, respect in the local community, because we've read before, everybody here knows Karen Clark is very much involved in the arts in New Zealand, okay? And it's been a bumpy ride, but in the process you learn and grow. And so with the Seven of Pentacles here, my feeling is the situation is you're realizing that, wow, I'm not doing too bad. I've got, just to be honest, I guess I have a few challenges. I have to realize that actually I've got quite a cool thing going on here with my business, my skills, my enterprise, my teaching, my sharing, my gallery, the community, my arts community. But I'm also realizing that if I'm willing to do some of the grunt work, the cleanup campaign, on the realization that maybe you've never been aware of it before, but there's lots of very, very small factors that are acting like weeds or an impediment or some kind of energy or practices or habits that are actually, it's not that they're non-productive, it's just that they are, let's say, obsolete, redundant, and no longer appropriate for the way you are conducting your life, your business, and it's time to do a cleanup. I'm not saying literally just go sweep the gallery. It's more to do with taking a broad vision of your world, your gallery, your family, your community, the arts community, and realizing that maybe there's a bit of a reshuffle that needs to happen. Let's say, like if you've had many years of certain expectations, habits, outcomes of expectation that are no longer appropriate, it's time to clean house, okay? Start all over again. Maybe it is very three-dimensional. Maybe it is something to do with like rearranging how the gallery looks, how the business is portrayed to the community, and basically getting rid of anything, everything that obscures your future success. It's almost to the point where it's less is more. What's that expression? Less is more, where rather than piling up on things that you would love to work at, removing obstacles. In other words, the pathway towards better success and like a lighter way of experience is to remove the obstacles to your success rather than trying to force future success on top of an existing foundation. In other words, clean up the foundation itself and allow the new growth to occur naturally. Okay, what's the challenges here? Okay, so this is the Three of Pentacles. My feeling here is that you wish you had some extra help to do this, because you might feel as though, man, it's awesome when you have teamwork or a team member who's on your side. They're on your side, you're with them, they're with you, you understand each other. It's like a working, viable partnership where you enhance their capabilities, they enhance your capabilities, and it turns into a new form of energy that has its own identity. But what I have a feeling is that it's not really there for you in the way that you would like, or where that would benefit. See more and more pentacles here? And maybe that is what needs to be understood. Like, I don't want to get into too many details, but maybe it's like, if you're running the whole show on your own and it's starting to become a challenge, maybe it's time to bring in an assistant, a partner. Or maybe it's the challenge is that it's actually very, very hard to, let's say, spread the load of running a business, like having business associates, business relationships in the community, throughout the country, with the arts leaders, the administrators for the whole country of New Zealand, in such a way that it would be nice if it really worked for you, as opposed to being a bit of a challenge to make it work for you. Because it would be great. Wouldn't that be great to have that kind of mutual support system? Like, they're on your side, you appreciate them, they appreciate you. You can't do without them, they can't achieve what they want to achieve without you. Mutually beneficial relationship. But that seems to be what the frustration is, like it's not 100% there the way you would like it to be. In other words, it would be really nice if you had some help. How do we proceed from here? Okay, so with the Emperor here, my feeling is that it's sort of where you're going to have to be, you're going to have to turn yourself into, even though, okay, here, what I'm sensing here, this represents more like the innocence and the naivety deep inside of you, understanding that you're always learning something new every day. No matter how successful you are already, no matter how unsuccessful you might be already for whatever reasons, you're still learning stuff every day. In other words, your own assets, skills, bounty, gifts, resources, team, skills, everything is there. It's always growing. But at the same time, there's always some sort of impediment which seems to hinder the growth. It would be nice to have support. And so my feeling is when I see the Emperor here, it's time to basically wake up and see the situation for what it is. You can't have absolute, permanent, ongoing success all the time as if it was just like magic. So, and instead of waiting for it to just arrive as if by magic, it looks to me like you're going to have to take charge of the situation. And to find a cure for this problem means, my feeling, it's like having to go out on a limb and establish yourself. I don't know how to do it. I'm not saying how to do it, but establish yourself as, let's say, a more significant member of the arts community, not just in your community, but in New Zealand, where you now you have to wear the crown, you have to wear the robe of being the, let's say, the authority figure for this particular area of the arts community in New Zealand. In other words, if an opportunity arrives where, let's say, there's competing activities inside the arts community, and the arts community is made up of all sorts of things, fine art, acrylics, ceramics, glass, jewelry, your art. It's time for you to put your name in the basket. If there's changing leadership in terms of the administration, in terms of recognition, who is the authority, not just in your community, but I think for the whole of New Zealand, it's time to step up. Put yourself in the limelight. Forget about the tall poppy syndrome, as they call it, and allow yourself to shine. There's nothing more wonderful than the benevolent emperor. Okay? Of course, the emperor can turn very nasty and be a total tyrant, but that's not you. This is healthy energy, and someone's got to do it. Even if there isn't a specific department or category for your art world, it's time for that to happen. Like, it has to be acknowledged and recognized as an integral part of New Zealand culture, and you would be the representative. Okay? I hope that makes sense, Karen. I don't know what else to say. Just going to put this away. Let me shuffle up a little bit here. And then we're going to go for Gregory. All right. So thank you, Gregory. Anyway, Karen will find this reading a little bit later on during the day. Thank you, Karen, even though you're not here. made it back in time, hopefully. Oh boy. Alright. Sorry I had to take a moment there. What happened? What happened? Where am I? I don't know what happened. I had to take a pee break. I'm sorry about that. Alright. Okay, I don't know what's happening. There's weird things happening on the show tonight with the streaming. I don't get it. It's just that there's so many freaking buttons that I have to work with to keep the show going. Alright, stop complaining, TL. Alright, Gregory, let's have a look at this. You've got a new admin named Melissa. I'd love to hear about her helping me. Okay, so we're going to do the basics, okay? You already know the routine, Gregory. We've been working together for years. What kind of messages do we have for Gregory here tonight regarding Melissa in her role for admin? Cards are already shuffled, but I need to go for more. I need more. I'm sorry, folks. Thank you for the notes there, Jody. Really helps. I hope that Karen gets to see those notes. It'll add a little bit of nuance and flavor to the reading. I'm being very gentle with the cards tonight because I don't want to mess up. I like to have them very, very pristine if I can possibly do that. I've got all sorts of decks besides this one, but I like working with this one because it seems to be timeless. I don't understand it. It's like brand new. The cards are like brand new. I don't know how many readings I've done with these cards, but anyway, I love working with them. Alright, so let's have a look here. What kind of messages do we have for Gregory tonight regarding Melissa in her role with admin? Okay, here we go. Take a deep breath. You all know what to do. Imagine the campfire. Bring in your invisible friends. Tune into the healing power of love. Allow your, let's say, visual cortex to open up wide, okay? It's kind of fun. Like, I don't really do it very actively, but I really enjoy when I get psychic phenomenon and I get to see spirits and people and so on. Doesn't matter whether they're alive or not, before or after or not. It doesn't matter. It's all out there in spirit. One of the most freakish things I can remember, I'll never forget it, is like in the early 90s, I was doing very heavy astral travel, and I was on a big important journey. Sorry, Gregor, I'll be with you in a minute. And I was very aware that I was in China, and I was able to move up and down the outside of enormous skyscrapers, which were brand new at the time. And since that time, millions of condos, apartments, houses have been built on the same model. So we're talking decades ago. But what I saw back in the 90s was that these buildings were going to collapse because they were built under very corrupt conditions. And all the materials and the contractors, the management, the banking, the construction itself was very, very corrupt, shoddy. The result is you have massive skyscrapers that have no integrity. And of course, all over China today, they are falling apart. The vision was so vivid, so clear. I could see right up to the very walls and the structure of the buildings. I could see hairline cracks, massive cracks, materials falling off, foundations shifting and buckling, walls shifting and buckling, whole skyscrapers tilting. I could see all of it. But it didn't make any sense at the time, because China and America were hardly even connected at the time. But anyway, fast forward today, guess what's happening all over China? Anyway, I like the visuals. It's really fun when you can see somebody. You can see their hair, their face, their clothes. But it only happens to be with divine ordination. All right, here we go. Anyway, cards are nicely shuffled. Here we go. What kind of messages do we have for Gregory regarding Melissa? Okay. Okay, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. And let's have a look at external influences. Planets, of course. I default there all the time. Let's have a look. So we've got the Fool. Well, this is exciting. I think we're looking at an adventure here where, what's that expression? Prepare to expect the unexpected. Remember, right now, I'm just going to illustrate a couple things. We're going through astrological history. Some monumental shifts in the astrological system. What I'm sensing right now is that this Fool card is very closely related to Uranus, like extreme unpredictability, wonder, magic, awakenings, freedom, liberation. And so a lot of points here, like this point here, 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 are all astrological pressure points that have been building up for years. And Gregory, you weren't here at the beginning of the show, but I was showing people the progression over the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to go backwards in time. This is today's chart. And you can see as we go back in time, I'm trying to illustrate as well as I can the extreme astrology right now. Okay, there's the Yod. There's the Yod. There's the double Yod. Extreme pressure. There's the monster double Yod with all the yellow circles. There's the extreme crisis points. Extreme high pressure astrologically, and kaboom. Just 1 week ago, today, the world changed profoundly. There was a big bang over in the Middle East. Anyway, so at the same time, these energies affect all of us as individuals, companies, societies, presidencies, financials, everything. But what I'm sensing right now, because we're talking about a business, okay, Gregory? So business involves transactions, money, dealing, like you said, administration, basically the managing the logistics of a business. Businesses involve money, communications. Money and communications. And my feeling is that there's something benevolent going on here with Melissa, but it's hard to pin down exactly what it is, because you're almost starting from scratch, like a whole new paradigm for the world of Gregory Ross. Bringing in these teams, this team, these people. And going through these periods, these astrological periods of radical change and upheaval, obviously it can be a little disconcerting, but it also can be very fun, exciting, and full of surprise. My feeling is that we're sensing the energy of surprise here, so I'm linking that directly with Uranus, and how Uranus is going to be moving into Gemini, which is very much to do with commerce, trade, logistics, interactions between one party and another, so on and so on. You could even include the words admin, sending and receiving emails, sending and receiving billing, accounts receivable, accounts payable, bookkeeping. All those kinds of things are going to come under over the next 7 years as Uranus moves through Gemini. And so my feeling is that it's possible that Melissa might have a few surprises up her sleeve that are not apparent at the moment, and please don't be surprised. In other words, stay very open-minded, because things may appear to be one way and in fact they're another way. I don't see any harm here. I see just a little bit of magic, a little bit of surprise, some sort of... It's almost like you're in a position where, like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? Like, I think I'm just going to have to go with this. I need an admin. I need someone to do this stuff, and there's this Melissa person, so let's just do it. Okay. See what happens. Okay, let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Because you can't take it anymore. So with the Nine of Swords here, to me it's an indication that you're sick of this stuff. You're just sick of all the endless worry, anxiety about all the details of running your life, your business, clients, people coming and going into your world, whatever that looks like. It could be anything, like I just talked about over here. Accounts receivable, communications, logistics, admin, bookkeeping, all the stuff that it takes to run a business, like business management, business admin. I was just at the doctor recently, and I'm very spoiled, very lucky with my health care. And whenever I go, I've been to several clinics this last week, spoke to a lot of admin and doctors and nurses and stuff. And hold on, give me a second, Gregory. Sorry. Right. What always amazes me is that for one doctor, there's usually like 2 or 3 nurses and 5 admin, because that's what it takes to keep the healing practice going. So you're used to being, 100% the boss of your world, and then having to, expand, grow, change, shift, where you're admitting, like, man, maybe I've got to have some team members, something like that. It might be more on the understanding that because I can't take it anymore, I just don't want to do all that stuff. It's not my best skill. And it would be like a tragic waste of energy. So you might as well at least give it a shot with Melissa. See how she pans out. Allow for the unexpected. Allow for a little bit of magic. A little bit of maybe some disruptions, like, oh God, is this going to work? Like, oh, actually, maybe she's really good at this or that. Maybe she's really good at client relationships, like to prep things up, so that when you walk into a room, the table is already set and the atmosphere is already groomed to be beneficial for you, which is ultimately, of course, beneficial for the other parties. Win-win. All right. Reducing the anxiety, okay? And of course, it's wonderful to have somebody stunningly beautiful in your team. All right, let's have a look. What are the challenges here? Okay, before I even open the card. Okay. I quiver. I'm just reading your notes, Gregory. I quiver when asking for a retainer. I know you do, Gregory. I know you hate to do all that stuff. But she's already brought in thousands more than I would have. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Oh my God, Gregory, that's fantastic. So, what is the challenges here? Like the Two of Swords. I'm sorry, Gregory. Here's what I'm getting from the Two of Swords. It's just like, my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, what have I done? What's happening? How can I handle this situation? I asked to be guided and protected. I asked for divine intervention, messages from the great beyond. I don't know if it's going to work or not. And I have to admit, sometimes, okay, this is what I'm really feeling, Gregory, with the Two of Swords here. Like you, every now and again, you're a real expert at tying yourself up in spiritual knots that actually become counterproductive to the point where you end up becoming your own worst enemy. And everything here becomes amplified. Ugh! And that's the last thing you need. So if it just happens, like you've just already said it on the screen, when if it just so happens you've got new admin, and she's stunningly beautiful, and she's very capable at bringing in the retainers, handling all of that stuff, bringing in the clients, getting the money on board, and then you start to look in the mirror like, oh my God, why didn't I figure this out before? I should have asked for this before. But on the other hand, it's just almost like the message is like, maybe I wasn't asking for the right thing at the right time for the right reasons. Maybe I wasn't sending out the right signals that would attract the right response. Hence, oh, again, I've been my own worst enemy. Oh, God. So anyway, how are we going to proceed? She's a Scorpio. Okay. For sure, tying yourself up in self-enemy. She's a Scorpio. Well, before I pull this card, a couple of things about Scorpios. Scorpios can be very good with OPM, other people's money. You being the other people, and clients being the other people. Scorpio, Pluto, the energy of Pluto, it rules the 8th house of hidden power, hidden assets, big money. Okay, just a few words on Scorpio. Okay, let's have a look. Moving forward, how do we proceed? We allow it to proceed by allowing things to attain their own equilibrium. You don't have to do anything, Gregory. You just allow nature to unfold. You allow the magic to unfold. You allow Melissa to just go ahead. Be Melissa. Do what you do, Melissa. Work your magic. I don't exactly know how you do it, but just keep on doing it. And that's good for me. It's good for you. It's good for the clients. It's good for money coming in. It's good for money going out. Harmony. Oh, it's beautiful, Gregory. I have a feeling this is good news for you. It's already got some characteristics of good news. And it might also lead to a long-term reduction in this. So you can just focus on your real skills, your real talents, your real resources, and how you can benefit accordingly. Okay? So in other words, by evolving into this new way of operations where you have a beneficial admin who's already proven herself, then you can basically rise up, expand more and more and more into your own natural talents, gifts, and resources, and enjoy a reciprocal, like a symbiotic relationship with admin. In other words, to me it looks harmonious, like you might have a rough day and she'll pick up the slack. She might have a very challenging day on her calendar, trying to do a lot of things with clients and admin coming in, going out. And you're having an easy day and you deserve it. And you can just say, I wish I could help you, Melissa, but I need a break. I'm going to go out for a walk for 10 minutes. I'm going to go somewhere outside. I'm going to have a smoke, or I'm going to have a cup of coffee or something. And, I'm going to go in an art gallery and I'm going to look at some paintings for a while. I'll be back in 40 minutes, okay? You can handle it. You're awesome. Goodbye. And then, it's that. It's kind of, to me, it looks like really good news. I don't want to put a timestamp on it, okay? Let's just say this just happened by magic, okay? You must have sent out the right signals to the right people at the right time by magic, even though you might be an expert at self-sabotage, but some of the signals got out, and you, through the laws of attraction, you attracted a compatible admin for you and your business. And of course, remember, it's mutual, okay? I have a feeling that with the Six of Pentacles here, that she will appreciate the environment in such a way that she feels that this is really good for her, and she's glad she has taken on the role of admin for you and your business. That's what I'm sensing here. Right, there you go. That's your reading. All right, I'm going to clear the decks here. Uncle Johnson. Oh gosh. Let me just check a couple of things. Oh, where's that? Hold on, give me a second. I'm just going through the chat. I got to catch up on a couple of things here. I can't see all the chat all the time, Huh? Oh, Darla. Poor little Darla. Poor little Darla. Eesh. I gotta shuffle this. I'm gonna. Poor little Darla. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I'll clean this up in a little bit. Okay, that's enough for readings tonight, folks. So, here we go. Let me go back over here. I can't remember who was with me on the show the other night during the week, but last week I was over at my early morning cup of coffee, and a fellow a couple of tables over had an epileptic fit. It was very sad, very frightening to watch, and of course a bunch of people were helping out. He was with two other people, just having a conversation. He looked like he was probably like 35 years old or something, and the two women about the same. And then he just went off, and he was out for about 20 minutes. It was awful. He calmed down, and then he went very, very rigid. And anyway, the medical teams arrived, and they helped him, and they did all sorts of wonderful things to help him out. It's scary. Epilepsy and having seizures is very scary. And I had a friend many, many years ago who used to have seizures, and I refused to believe that he was sick in the traditional sense. I believed it was stress because of his life, his living conditions. And so I had a sort of intervention with him. I kind of took him under my wing. And really, it was mostly about acknowledging him as an amazing person. And I don't think it ever really been acknowledged or recognized like that before. And it changed his whole physiology, and the seizures just disappeared. Anyway, Poor little Darla. Oh, you know the little cat I was talking about for the last couple of months? Parker? Little tiny, jet black, beautiful little cat. Probably like 1 year old or 9 months old. Stray. Probably had a home for a while, but not long. Lived under a van in a car park near McDonald's, and I've been feeding her and giving her water, checking in every day for the last few months. She is now gone. I had a sequence of events which makes me feel that she was adopted by a very loving person, an older woman, probably in the, no, maybe not, maybe like a 40-year-old woman, fairly large, wearing sort of like a gown type dress, loose type of a gown, like a, what's that fabric called? It's a natural fabric, but anyway, very soft, gentle energy. And somehow or other, I feel that this little cat Parker was captured, abducted, kidnapped by this person with the help of another person. And little Parker is now in a beautiful home, being treated like a beautiful princess. I believe it. I really do, because a chain of events that made me come to this conclusion. And I had a very powerful, vivid, clear, visual image visiting me of this woman, giving me a big hug and a thank you for bringing little Parker into her life. I can't prove any of this, but that's what I believe. So I believe little Parker is now living the life of a beautiful princess, and she will be adored and worshipped. And I guess little Darla is very lucky to have you, Jody. Very, very lucky. Yeah, it must be very, very hard to watch. I had to be on certain medications for a while because of not full-on seizures, but at certain periods it was very hard to control pain in my body, and it would turn into these convulsions. I would say convulsions, not seizures. So I had to have these very powerful meds that would help me to calm down, and it worked. But these are meds that you really don't want to. You don't really want them in your life if you don't have to. Anyway, let's wrap it up, folks. I feel like I've done pretty much whatever I can handle here tonight. I see Michael's notes there. Michael was wondering if he was going to get put into a care home or something. I don't really do yes or no answers. Michael, come back next week, okay? Or just get in touch with me. You go over here, okay? TarotLumination.com. Go to the donate page. Click donate. It'll show up over here. And put some money in the pot. And I'll do a mini reading for you and send it over. Okay? I just need your email address. You can do all that through TarotLumination.com, okay? In the meanwhile, let's wrap it up here. Thanks for people all over the world, all over the country visiting. It's been a pleasure to read for you. I hope you'll get something out of this. Have a beautiful evening. Enjoy the week ahead. Please be aware about the astrology right now. We're living through history in the making. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but this is monumental astrology. Things like this don't happen for hundreds of years at a time. It's very rare, and it's very powerful, and we've seen it on the global stage, in case you hadn't noticed. But anyway, be loving, be loved. It's physics. It's pure, simple physics. Be loving, be loved. Good night. Good night, everybody.